Hello, my friends. Welcome to Tittle Tattle Tarot. And in today's reading, I'd like to do a very light-hearted look at Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, and I want to find out about his title. And because it's just a fun, short little reading, I was going to use the Curious Creatures Tarot. So this is very whimsical, and this is just like a very, very light-hearted little reading. So I thought the Curious Creatures would be good for this one. So I want to find out, did this title actually come from his love of the film Shakespeare in Love? So supposedly he saw that film and it was a favourite of his, and the character within that film, the Earl of Wessex, was his inspiration for claiming that title, which I believe hadn't been used since 1066. So it had been out of use within the royal family for hundreds and hundreds of years. So I just want to know whether that is indeed true, because it's a very sweet, romantic tale, if it is. I think titles are usually, gifted, and maybe you don't have much of a say about them. But the Queen's youngest son seems to have been able to have chosen his own title. So let's find out, was it due to that film? I'm just going to pull from the top. I've already shuffled. One more go. I'm going to pull from the top. Okay. Let's see what they have to tell me about this Earl of Wessex. So the first thing that I see there is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is very much your typical knight, your knight in shining armor. So I think Edward is quite an emotional soul, and he was, about to get married, and I think that he's a softie. And looking at this, I'm sure that he would have loved that film Shakespeare in Love, whether it was the inspiration. But this comes across as a man who isn't afraid to show his feelings. And yeah, I can well see that he would love a movie like Shakespeare in Love. That is a very romantic card. And then the Seven of Pentacles. It's like, he's worked within the royal family for all his life, and he's put in a lot of work, and now it's all coming to fruition. He's beginning to flourish. He's getting married. All the things that he's done in the past are sort of, reaping their rewards now. He worked a lot with the theatre, and he sort of done a lot of work behind the scenes, and he was just starting to see the fruits of his labours. And he's always been a very loyal member of the royal family. I don't think he's really given them too much trouble. And then the Ten of Wands, this could be seen as a little bit of a stab in the back. So I wonder whether, when he said the title that he wanted, he wanted an earldom rather than a dukedom, whether perhaps the men in grey suits were a little bit against this, and perhaps it was, well, why on earth would you want an earldom when you could have a dukedom? Have you really thought this through? I think there were quite a lot of barbed comments coming towards him, stabs at, well, really, sir, you should go for a dukedom. Why on earth do you want that title? It hasn't been used for years and years and years, hundreds of years, in fact. So I see that as possibly, as I say, the courtiers maybe being a little bit disrespectful of him wanting this more romantic title. So let's just find out. So was it indeed because of that film Shakespeare in Love? Was that the inspiration? It'd be lovely if it was. And with that Knight of Cups, I could well believe that it was, but we'll see what the cards have to say. Okay. Three of Cups. Three of Wands. I think it was the Three of Cups. So we've got a few energies here, whether it is in fact three energies, but I think that he went to the Queen and said, I want this title. And the Queen had to indulge it and agree it. which I believe was showed a lovely sort of side to their relationship. The fact that she said, yes, you can have that, because as I said earlier, I'm not sure, but I think that titles are given, and you're very much, oh well, thank you, that's great, thank you for that title. But in this occasion, he went to her regardless of what people within the palace might be saying. Oh, you don't want that. He said, I do want this title. And and then his ships came in. He was granted it, and he was able to have it. So it was just like, yes, wonderful. She said yes. She said yes. She could easily have said no. You're going to have a dukedom. Don't be silly, because the royal family aren't really known for being over emotional and sentimental. But this Knight of Cups, he wanted it, and she indulged him. So I still want to know. It hasn't really told me about this film, Shakespeare in Love. Very hard to get a yes or no from the tarot. But let's just see. What about Shakespeare in Love? Was that the main motivation behind it? Earl of Wessex. Was that film, Shakespeare in Love, the main motivation behind it? Whatever you can show me, the main motivation behind it. Let's take from the top again. The Chariot. I believe it was. He saw what he wanted and he went after it. The Chariot, fast forward movement. You know where you're going. You know what you want. It's sort of the yin and the yang, and yeah, I think that he saw this film. I love this Chariot card here with the camel on the bicycle. It's such a fun little energy with the black and white cats here. I think that Edward is a very sort of fun character, very, very light-hearted. He's worked very hard for the royal family, but yeah, I think that he really wanted this, and he went to the Queen, and I do think that this tale about Shakespeare in Love is true, and I think that's lovely. I think that it's a lovely title, Earl and Countess of Wessex, and I think it's very nice to have a title back in use again after basically 1,000 years. So that's it. I'm going to say yes, that he did choose it because of Shakespeare in Love, and the Queen indulged him and said, yes, I agree with that. You can certainly have that title. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this reading, and I'll catch up with you again soon. Thank you.